All right, let's jump right into this. Every single year, we are seeing a phenomenon of just truly massive proportions. Millions, literally millions of Indians are out there actively applying for student visas, work permits, permanent residency, or even totally switching their citizenship. And we're talking about a really broad cross-section of society here. You've got brilliant software engineers from Bangalore, incredibly dedicated doctors in Delhi, ambitious students out of Mumbai. They're packing their bags, heading to packed airports, and looking toward a future in places like Canada, the US, Australia, the UAE, and the UK. So there's this very powerful, very common dream spreading like wildfire across the nation, this intense desire to settle abroad. But the sheer massive scale of this migration brings up an absolutely crucial question that we're going to unpack in today's explainer. So here's the core paradox we're dealing with. Think about it. India is currently the world's fastest growing major economy. It's an absolute powerhouse. It's produced some of the most wildly successful global CEOs out there today. It boasts thousands of innovative startups, and it has one of the youngest, most vibrant workforces on the entire planet, right? So with all of this incredible, undeniable momentum happening at home, why do so many people still want out? Is it just about the paycheck? Is it education, healthcare, or maybe something fundamentally deeper? Well, to really get this, we have to understand how aspirations have totally shifted over the years.
Section 1. The Modern Indian Dream. From Stability to Global Ambition.
You see, for decades, the traditional Indian dream was actually pretty straightforward. It was all about getting a solid education, landing a highly stable job, very often a government job, buying a house, and raising a family. Boom, done. But today, that dream has completely evolved. For so many young Indians right now, the very definition of making it inherently includes gaining international exposure. It's about overseas success. And this brand new ambition is heavily directed toward a very specific set of hubs: the United States, Canada, Australia, the UK, Germany, and the UAE. Packing up for these nations isn't just seen as, changing your zip code anymore. It's viewed as the ultimate ticket to massively leveling up career prospects and unlocking a completely different lifestyle. But what exactly is the big draw here? Moving to Section 2, the pull of the West. Balancing the scales. To really grasp this migration, we have to impartially look at the financial and lifestyle drivers that act as this giant magnet, especially for highly skilled professionals in tech, finance, healthcare, and engineering. Okay, higher salaries. That's the obvious one, right? Professionals in developed economies can earn significantly more, which, in theory, means way better savings, investment opportunities, and long-term financial security. But, and this is a big but, that wealth doesn't just exist in a vacuum. Those higher incomes are almost always instantly offset. By what? A much higher cost of living, substantially steeper taxes, and just incredibly expensive housing. So the financial comparison isn't always as simple as it looks on paper. You really have to balance those scales. For a lot of migrants, though, it's actually not just about the money at all. Honestly, it comes down to daily quality of life. We're talking about things like reliable public transport that actually gets you to work on time without the stress. We're talking cleaner cities, significantly less pollution, having well-maintained infrastructure and highly predictable public services, like top-notch healthcare systems. These are the daily, tangible things that actively pull people away from India. They heavily fuel the perception of a fundamentally better life abroad. Even though, let's be real, every single country has its own unique set of headaches. So how do they actually make the move? Well, for hundreds of thousands of Indian students every single year, the blueprint is essentially a three-step process. Step 1, enroll in a world-renowned university abroad. Step 2, use that world-class education to score specialized research opportunities and get that vital international exposure. And then Step 3, leverage all of that to build a long-term overseas career. For a lot of people, studying abroad isn't just about grabbing a degree. It's a very calculated, critical first step toward permanent emigration.
Now, you might be asking, why not just stay and work in India after graduating? Well, look, India is an absolute powerhouse of human capital. The country churns out millions of fresh graduates every single year. But the stark reality of the domestic job market is that creating enough high-quality jobs for everyone, that is an unbelievable challenge. And what happens? You get intense competition, really frustrating skill mismatches, and job searches that drag on for months or even longer. Because of this massive bottleneck, many feel like they literally have no choice but to look outward, to international markets where they feel there's just a lot more opportunity in their specific field.
Section 3, Reality of Life Abroad. Beyond the social media highlight reel. Okay, we really need to shift gears here and talk about the actual day-to-day experience of moving abroad, because we have to contrast the flawless luxury lifestyles you constantly see on Instagram with the real, sometimes super gritty daily struggles. It is so essential to remember that success still fundamentally depends on skills, effort, opportunity, and circumstances. Yes, global Indian professionals have achieved mind-blowing things. Titans like Sundar Pichai at Google, Satya Nadella at Microsoft, Indra Nooyi, they inspire millions and they prove what is absolutely possible. But their highly publicized, out-of-this-world success stories can sometimes create pretty unrealistic expectations for the average person making the move. The truth is, not everyone who goes abroad gets that spectacular fairy tale ending. To really ground this conversation, let's pull back the curtain on the hidden struggles of emigration. Social media loves to flaunt the big paychecks and the gorgeous city skylines, but it almost never shows the relentless, heavy pressure of building a life completely from scratch. We are talking about trying to survive in incredibly expensive housing markets, that constant gnawing anxiety of visa uncertainty, wondering if you'll have to leave next month, the deep emotional toll of being an ocean away from your family, severe cultural adjustments, sometimes totally extreme and unfamiliar weather, and depending on where you go, totally exorbitant healthcare costs. Moving abroad is deeply rewarding for a lot of people, for sure, but for others, navigating these hidden hurdles makes it way harder than they ever imagined.
Section 4, Drain or Circulation, a Shifting Global Paradigm. All right, we are going to introduce a pretty massive reframing of this entire topic right now. We're zooming out from those individual micro-level struggles we just talked about and looking at the big picture, the macroeconomic global view. And this is a total aha moment for how we understand migration today. Historically, when highly skilled people left, everyone called it a brain drain. It was seen as a total loss for the home country. But today, we need to talk about brain circulation. This is the two-way flow of talent. Because our world is so hyper-connected now, Indians who move abroad aren't just leaving forever and cutting all their ties. No way. They are actively investing back into India. They're mentoring domestic startups, collaborating with Indian firms, and in a lot of cases, they're eventually returning home and bringing incredibly valuable global experience right back with them. Talent and knowledge are now moving in both directions.
Section 5. Retaining the talent. Building the future in India. Now, while brain circulation is fantastic, India isn't just sitting on the sidelines watching its talent fly away. There are rapid, sweeping changes happening inside the country right now, specifically designed to create world-class opportunities right at home. The economy is aggressively expanding its startup ecosystems, which is sparking just incredible innovation. We're seeing a really fast-growing manufacturing sector, the rollout of totally cutting-edge digital public services, and a huge spike in global investment. The ultimate goal for India isn't to build a wall and trap people inside. It's about relentlessly upgrading education and infrastructure. The mission is to ensure that staying in India becomes just as attractive, if not more attractive, than leaving. It's about making sure the opportunities at home are second to none.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer today, and I want to leave you with something to really think about. Look, the decision to move abroad is deeply personal. It's driven by career goals, lifestyle choices, family needs. There is no one single definition of success. But the real burning question for the future of global migration and India's whole economic trajectory is this: where would you build your future? And maybe more importantly, what exactly must India do to convince its absolute brightest talent that their most meaningful, impactful opportunities are waiting for them right at home? It's a genuinely fascinating puzzle to ponder as we watch this great migration continue to unfold. Thank you so much for joining me for this explanation, and keep questioning the forces shaping our world.